Welcome to Free Meditation TV. My name is Oksana, and today we have special guest, Dr. Deva.
Thank you, Oksana. It's good to be back.
Thank you for coming back. We have many questions from our viewers, and the first one is people say that sometimes they're stressed out, sometimes they're lethargic, they're depressed. So in Sahaja Yoga, we say that people on the left, people are on the right, and the question is there something in medical science that we could do to get into the center? What should we do?
Well, to be honest, as a Western trained physician, I wasn't aware of being right sided or left sided till I started practicing Sahaja Yoga. And generally, humanity is also not aware of the situation. But when you understand the Sahaja Yoga perspective, you can understand that people are right-sided, and those are the people that are on the go, thinking, over planning, and just always on the go. And then you have the other group of people who are kind of lethargic, not very motivated, tending to depression or lack of self lack of what would the word be?
Assertiveness.
Assertiveness, yes, or lack of self confidence, and these people are left sided. And if we are not aware of this in Western medicine, it's hard to correct. But in Sahaja Yoga, you come to understand that yes, you are right sided. And to be honest, I am a right sided person. I have come to recognize that by virtue of the fact that in my profession, we think a lot, we have to analyze a lot, we have to come to conclusions and do a lot of reading. And so the brain is in a constant state of activity, and that tends to make me more of a right-sided person. And unfortunately, if I was to continue like this without the meditation that I do, this would eventually wear me down. And I do believe that humans, I do believe that if you are either very extremely left-sided or right-sided, that eventually the body will manifest itself as a physical illness. And this is the unfortunate ramification of the subtle system not being in balance.
Thank you. Another question is, actually it was also very interesting, is in Sahaja Yoga, we know that left-sided people, they suffer some psychosomatic troubles. Right-sided people suffer somatic problems. Is it recognized in medical science that your personality could affect what kind of problems body would have?
I do not believe that Western medicine understands that as of yet. But hopefully, with time and practice of meditation, this awareness will become more pervasive in Western medicine. We think very scientifically, and we think in terms only of the physical and emotional body. But there is a deeper system in our bodies that is imprinted at our birth, that we're not aware of, the subtle system. And certainly this system impacts quite significantly on the rest of the other principles of our bodies, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and has a very strong role to play. And I'm one of those who practices this meditation. I've been doing so for 17 years. I've felt the benefits on all my aspects of the physical, emotional, and spiritual being. And so that's why I'm here, to give an opportunity for people to understand that there is more to medical science than as what is being touted today.
Thank you. Another question. Last time when you were talking with Andrew, you were talking about the Vishuddhi chakra, and then there is a connecting nerve from this center, from the nervous plexuses to the finger. And the question is, so how about all other centers? Do they have a connecting nerve from the plexuses to the finger that we could feel them?
Absolutely. So the subtle system actually represents or controls the physical aspects, the emotional aspects, the spiritual aspects of the physical body. So there are six main nerve complexes or plexuses along our spinal cord, and each of them corresponds to a chakra on the subtle system, and each nerve plexus innervates that physical aspect of the body that it's controlling. And yes, it is connected to your fingers, to your toes, and to the top of your head. And so, interestingly enough, if you can put attention on your chakras, say for example the fifth chakra, which is the Vishuddhi chakra, and you through meditation are deep enough to understand what you're doing, you will actually be able to feel whether your Vishuddhi chakras are cool, warm, and whether you are in fact in balance. And this applies as well to the thumb, which are represented by your Swadhisthana chakra, the second chakra. For example, the fourth finger is your Agya chakra, which is actually represented at the optic chiasma. And the fifth chakra, which is your little finger, which is represented at your heart level or the heart chakra. Now, obviously, there's a lot more information available, but in synopsis, yes, this is very much connected, and you actually become your own master. Your chakras tell you what is wrong with your physical body and your emotional body when you go in more depth in meditation.
So, another question, the last one before we go, is about diagnostics. So, our subtle system or our energy kundalini could tell us, okay, there must be problem with this center and that center. Could we say that we might suffer from the problem eventually? That could be some diseases, like if we have Nabi problem and Svadhisthana, could we say that we have problem liver condition even before we start feeling it?
From a Western perspective, I think that would be a bit difficult. Usually, my role in Western medicine is that the patient comes to me with the illness process. And so they're already manifesting the subtle system on the physical body. But if you practice meditation and you learn to recognize the problems in your own body, there are methods and techniques that you can utilize to actually help clear any deficits or problems on these chakras. And this actually relieves the pressures on the emotional and the physical body and brings you back into balance. Because our ultimate aim is that if we are in balance, if we are not on the left side, if we are not on the right side, and our chakras are functioning well, then we are a healthy physical being, as well as being in balance emotionally, psychologically, and all other aspects of our general health.
Thank you. For today, we finished with our questions with Dr. Deva, but you could write to us, and from time to time she agreed to come to our show and explain all our subtle problems or subtle informations, questions with the medical science, with the whatever the medical science is up to. And now in our next segment, we will listen to founder of Sahaja Yoga, Shri Mataji. So just sit like that, put your hands on your lap, and try to get into the state of subtle balance where you could feel yourself.
In these modern times, the life is so full of struggle, speed. Now we were coming and there was a jam. Now you can't help it. I was very silently watching. Now this is the jam. I have to reach late, doesn't matter. My husband normally would have been really in great trouble. He would have looked at the watch all the time, would have been, wow, where are we, what are we doing, this and that. But he was so silently watching the whole thing, I was amazed. Because normally he would be jittery that we are getting so late for a function like. Now, you see, once you get rid of this problem, is the easiest thing to live. The other day I met one gentleman who was transferred. He said, always whenever, he is an IAS officer, whenever I am transferred, mother, I used to be so jittery, such tension, such stress on my mind, Baba, what will happen, where will the children go, what will happen to the house, this, that, all problems would come to me. But what has happened to me and my wife, we don't feel anything now. We don't feel. We are not worried. We sleep very well. I said, that's what has to happen. All these things should not affect you. That's only possible when you can go beyond this mind, which we think mind is not such a good word, I should say, because it's not mental. It is. If it is only mind means the one which thinks, and that for them mental hospital is also mad people. I don't know how English language moves. It's difficult, you know. English language is very difficult to explain Sahaj Yoga, because in the English language, you'll be amazed that they call spirit. Spirit is the Atma, right? Spirit is the dead body moving about, according to them. And thirdly, it means also alcohol. Now, which one is closer to which one, I don't know. But this is why I'm saying that English language is a difficulty. Marathi is the best, because lot of work has been done among Maharashtrians on Kundalini. Nath Panthis were there, they have done a lot of work, but the tradition was that one person would give realization to only one person. If I have done anything you think worth mentioning, it is that I tried to find out a way of giving collective realization, collective happiness. That's what was my humble contribution, and by which I find thousands of people have got their realization. Now, what is the realization? It is that if you see at the base of the spinal cord is a triangular bone called as sacrum. It is called sacrum because it's a sacred bone, and the Greeks knew about it, that it's a sacred bone. And according to our Shastras and also many other prophecies, there resides a power within us, our own power, your own power, called as Kundalini. It's called Kundalini because it is in 3.5 coils. Coils are called Kundal, that's why it is the Kundalini. Now, this power is your own. It's in every human being. And if it is awakened, it passes through 6 centers, piercing through the top of the head, which we call as the Brahmarandre in the Sanskrit language, and the fontanelle area in the English language. It passes through that soft bone which was there in the childhood, and you just start feeling the cool breeze coming out of your head and the cool breeze coming onto your fingertips. It happens. It's an experience, and for which you cannot pay. You cannot. I may go on telling you lots of stories, this, that won't work. It has to happen. The Kundalini has to rise and has to pierce through fontanelle area. Otherwise, it's no use. It's just words, some sermon or something like that. So, this happening is very easy in this Kali Yuga. It's really remarkable because maybe because of Kali Yuga, people are fed up of the things going on and all kinds of things working out. Now, what does it do? It passes through 6 centers. 6 centers, these are meant for our physical, mental, and emotional being, and also for our spiritual being. So when it passes through these 6 centers, it nourishes those centers. It integrates all these centers. And ultimately it passes through this and enters into the all-pervading power of divine love. It's called as Paramachaitanya. You may call it as all-pervading power of divine love or anything, but names make no difference. There is a very subtle power around us which looks after us, which guides us, which helps us, which is the torsion area. Now, by doing that, what happens? That you become knowledgeable of the absolute truth. Absolute. Whatever you know is absolute, is nothing to doubt, nothing can be challenged. For example, it starts flowing through your fingertips. Starts flowing through your fingertips, and you can feel it on your fingertips, your centers. Now these are 5, 6 and 7 centers, 5, 6 and 7 centers. I'm not going to tell you all the details now, but when you start feeling these cold sensation, Adi Shankaracharya has called it as Spand, then you feel the truth, the real truth. For example, supposing in your office you get somebody who is a cheat, very well dressed, speaks English very well, very well behaved. How will you make him out? You just have to put your hands under your table and see for yourself. Immediately you'll get some sort of a burning sensation, or you might feel some sort of a, call needle and pins, like that. That kind of a feeling you might get. Then you will also know what centers he is catching on your fingertips. This is the absolute knowledge about everything. It's not question of only knowing who is a bad or a good person, but also of diseases. Supposing you have some disease, you will feel it on your fingertips. On your fingertips you will feel it. You will know this is your disease, and if you know how to cure them, you can cure others also. Because you become one with the whole. It's a very collective personality you develop. Who is the other after all? We are all one. But only trouble is we are separated because of this ignorance. Once this works out, so many things drop out from us. This is the right side I am telling you about. But also the conditionings are very much working out in us. In our reaction, there are 2 things that work out. One is the right side, another the left side, and the left side is all the conditioning as you see them. These conditionings come to us through our childhood, through our family, through our country, through our reading, this, that, all kinds of things they come up. But also, family upbringing is very important. Because according to our Shastras, there are 6 enemies, we have got 6. Now these 6 enemies are what? So Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara, Lobha, Moha. Kama is what you can call sexual urge. Krodha is anger. Krishna has denounced anger. But all right-sided people are hot-tempered. They don't want to be, but they are. And when they lose their temper, then they feel bad also. Not that they want to lose it, but they just lose it. Now, this one drops out. The temper goes out completely because you develop that witness state, Sakshi Swarupada. With that witness state, you just see everything. You don't lose temper. You just see it. That is one thing drops out very well.
In this segment, we will meditate. Just sit straight, put your hands on your lap. Hello, I hope you enjoyed meditation, and I just want to thank Dr. Deva. Thank you for coming to our show and explaining us all our subtle, how it connects with the medical science.
My pleasure.
See you next week.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and if you have any questions whatsoever or suggestions, please send us an email. We'll be more than happy to get back to you.